Good morning. What a beautiful day it is here. A beautiful day in the neighborhood. I just want to thank God for being able to be here and to enjoy this beautiful weather we're having here in the Hampton Roads area. We can expect probably the 90s today and throughout the week. And it's so good to see the sunshine. We've got a lot of rain, but I tell you what, I'm ready to get out of here, enjoy the weekend, just have a good time, and get a little rest and relaxation after a long week. I want to welcome our guests, Facebook Live, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram, listeners. TikTok is over here as well. I'm Yolanda Hinton, the host of FYI Morning Show Live. And I want you all to do me a favor. Make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe to our channels. You can always go to the newest one on YouTube at FYI Radio Show host Yolanda Hinton and Christo, Cristo Records 1 over there on Facebook. Now, if you haven't followed us over here on TikTok, you can always come to Y Hinton, that's YHINTON, over here with FYI Radio Show. And make sure you follow me. I will follow you back. But I tell you what, it is a beautiful day in the neighborhood, and I'm glad to be here. I have a very special guest with me. I can't wait to talk about her because I feel like I could talk about her about a whole lot of things, but we have a few things we want to cover. My special guest is Miss Mickey Turner. She's a current member of the Academic Senate Executive Board. She is currently a professor of professional practice at USC's Annenberg School for Communications and Journalism. She's also an award-winning photojournalist and producer. I want to say good morning,
Good
Mickey. How
morning.
you doing?
I'm good. A little sleepy, but I'm good. Here
Also,
on the West Coast, it's a little early, but we're ready to roll.
you're up early. You hail from. Tell us where you are from.
Originally, I'm from Cincinnati. I've been living in Los Angeles now for I don't even know how many years. I came down here in '92 from the Bay Area, but I spent my time in Hampton Roads, Hampton Institute graduate.
Really?
And I also worked there for a while for the Journal and Guide back in the day in Norfolk. So very familiar with your weather
Oh my goodness! I
and the
didn't know
area.
you knew anything about Hampton
Oh
Road.
yeah. Oh yeah, I
That
do.
is marvelous. What do you like about California, though?
The weather,
Oh, really?
basically. The north and south are very different.
Yes.
I find that the northern part of the state or the Bay Area is a little bit more, you get more of a sense of community there.
Mhm.
LA is so, it's sprawling, and you don't, everybody lives in their car or
Oh
now
my.
on the mass transit system, which is a little bit better than it was, when I first moved here. But, it's basically the weather, you
Yes.
know.
I've been there once, and I absolutely loved California. I was in LA one time, but I also
Mhm.
was in Anaheim, California at a conference.
Okay.
It was absolutely adorable. I will never forget California, and I got a chance to experience some of your beautiful mountains, which I love
Right.
mountains.
Right.
I
Right.
love it. But I want to thank you so much for being on today. We have a lot of folk that's on saying good morning. We're over here on TikTok and it's just moving real fast. But later on, we'll get a chance to shout them out and some of the folk that are wishing you well.
Okay.
Uh, there's so much to talk about. And I want to talk about, first of all, um, your journey, because
Hmm.
you talk about a 40-year journey of doing some things in education. And
Hmm.
let's talk about your journey in education. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, that's something I never thought I'd be doing, honestly. I spent 40 odd years covering sports and entertainment. And, I happened to be at a concert downtown for South African artists, many of whom I had known because I'd been to that country so often and covered jazz festivals and things like that. And I ran into someone who taught me when I was doing a fellowship at Berkeley. And I knew she was at USC, but we had never just run into each other. It had been years since we'd seen each other, and she was at that concert as well. And she came up to me and she said, "Let's do lunch." I'm like, okay, but in LA, a lot of people say, "Let's do lunch," and it never happens.
Wow.
So it did happen, and during that lunch, she said, "He ever thought about teaching?" And I was like, "Yeah, and a little bit, but not really." Um, and she said, "Well, we have a position opening up for photojournalism instructor. Would you be interested?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure." And I went in and interviewed for it. The next day, someone called and said, "His job's yours if you want it." And I'm like,
Oh,
"Wow, that was easy." Okay, so that's what started my career at SC. I did teach a little bit at Cal State Fullerton while I was a sports writer at the Orange County Register. But this position at SC really sort of propelled me into a different direction.
wow.
I really started to enjoy the interaction with the students, being in that academic environment. And I remember one time I was having lunch with the late Naomi Judd. We were doing an interview at a restaurant called the Ivy, which I didn't know until recently was owned by Lionel Richie and Tina Turner.
Wow.
But she said to me, she said, "You should get out of this entertainment business. You need to go be a professor somewhere and do." And I'm like, "Huh?" And this was, probably 10 years before.
Yes.
And I loved Naomi. I miss her very much. She was in many ways wise, beyond her on stage persona.
Yes.
But yeah, so I was like, when I got the job, I was like, okay, I called her up and said, "Okay, you were right. This is where I'm supposed to be." So sometimes, God orders your steps in directions that you don't really realize that you need to take. So
Absolutely.
that's what happened.
Do you feel fulfilled there? Does it make you happy when you wake up and say, "Uh oh, I got to go to USC"?
Sometimes it makes me feel like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do today? But it's like, it all kind of depends what happens when you step into that classroom,
Yes.
because you have to try to meet every student where they are, and they're in so many different places, and that can get a little intimidating sometimes. But I try to just talk to them in a language that they understand,
Yes.
and meet them where they are. And my job, as I see it, is to help them develop the skills so they can shine on.
Absolutely. Now, when did you fall in love with sports? Oh my goodness.
Wow. Yeah, I had older brothers, and they all were athletes for the most part. And I think the first time I really fell in love with it, I found an old McGregor tennis racket in my grandmother's garage.
Wow.
And I picked it up and I just started hitting against the wall. And I loved that game, and I still love that game. Um, and as kids, we used to always play kickball in the street, badminton. We would play, touch football across the street in the park. And basketball was a great love of mine as well. And, a lot of kids, a lot of, young girls would have, pictures of like the Jackson Five or whomever on their walls. I had those, but I also had pictures of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar
Yes.
and Earl Monroe and Walt Frazier and players like that. So, it was just something that I, kind of naturally gravitated toward. My dad was a big bowler. He was a big sports fan. He was a big golfer, and he wanted me to play golf. But I'm like, oh, the clothes are ugly, But I didn't start playing golf until I was in my 40s, and by that time, I got really frustrated because I really loved it, but I couldn't. It was just like so hard to be good and consistent at it that it would really frustrate me.
So you've covered the sports. Tell us about that. You know, some of the things
Um,
places.
well, one of the things I really wanted to do in covering sports, I wanted to cover pro tennis, which I did get a chance to do. I wanted to cover the NBA, which I really wanted to get a chance to do. But mostly, I really wanted to cover women's sports, specifically women's basketball and women's tennis, and got the opportunity to do that in Oakland at the Tribune. And I wrote columns. I had a column on women's sports where I would interview different female athletes. Um, I had the opportunity to meet all of the tennis greats: Martina
Oh,
Navratilova, Billie Jean King, Chris Everett. Even going back to Bettina Bungie and people like that. I covered Venus Williams'
oh,
first professional match. And in the ensuing years covered her and her sister. And I remember at that match, Serena was sitting in a corner just grimacing, frowning,
wow.
because she wanted to play. And she was, they hadn't put her on the court yet. And I remember her dad telling me that she was going to be the one because she had the killer instinct. And lo and
Absolutely.
behold,
It's
here we
true.
go. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And she's going back into, she's actually
Yes,
practicing
yes.
now.
Yeah, I'm anxious to see how that's going to work out for her. But I also, loved reading about people like Althea Gibson.
Oh,
And,
yeah.
I did a really award winning story on the Tennessee State Tiger Bells. I think I was probably the last person to interview Wilma Rudolph
Oh, my
before
goodness.
she passed.
Yeah.
And spending time with the Tiger Bells was like one of the highlights of my career because I knew about Wilma Rudolph, but I
Yes.
didn't know about the rest of them. And I happened to meet Wyoming Tyus and Edith Duval at an event in Oakland, and I asked them, can I interview you for my column? And
Yes.
I did, and that started a long relationship with them. And then I was asked by my late friend Yolanda Jackson, who was an executive at the Women's Sports Foundation, if I would be the official escort for the Tiger Bells when they were honored by the Women's Sports Foundation. I'm like, are you kidding me? What? I'm on the plane now, and it was such a crazy time in a good way. I mean, Lady
Yes.
Willie White kept trying to. She had this special drink she would have the bartender make up, and she kept wanting me to try it. I don't do whiskey, I do a little red wine, and that's it.
Yes.
And this drink had all kinds of stuff in it. I was like, and she insisted that I, take a sip. She said, "You drink it." And I was like, oh my God, it burned all the way down. But it was so wonderful seeing them get their flowers. And Willie was a pistol. And they were sitting around the table and they were all, woofing, talking about back in the day. I beat you in the fourth, and it was just an
That's
amazing time to
amazing.
see them all together because I don't think they'd all been together in quite some time. And then getting to meet Coach Temple, Ed Temple, the great coach that they ran for. And I don't think a lot of people know that between 1956 and 1980, the Tiger Bells sent, I can't remember how many women to the Olympics, but
Oh,
I know they won 23 medals in
yes.
that time. So, yeah,
That
it
is
was
marvelous.
a really special situation that I remember fondly.
So you've seen women's sports really evolve.
Hmm.
I can imagine now in this season, especially when we talk about basketball,
Hmm.
I can imagine you really keeping your eyes and really feeling good about what's going on. How do you feel about the WNBA at this time?
You know, I think it's there was a time when, a lot of people didn't think the league was going to succeed.
Yes.
even though there were great players that were there at the inception, like Cynthia Cooper and Cheryl Swoops and Tina Thompson, Lisa Leslie, all these people were playing, and even beyond that, I'm not even mentioning all the names: Katina
Yeah.
McClain, Ruthie Bolton. I mean, Don Staley. There were just tons of talent there. But they had marketing issues,
Yes. Yeah.
and I think if they had maybe launched in some of the uh, smaller markets, like where there's nothing to do,
Yeah. Yes.
it might have been a little bit more successful in the beginning, but they switched up the plan, and now they're just thriving. And I think that every year when I watch the draft, it gets even more and more interesting because
Absolutely.
these players, um, it's hard to compare the current players with the players of the past.
Absolutely.
But I'm old school. I taught with Cheryl Miller at USC last year. That was an
Ooh,
amazing experience,
yes.
and it's so lovely to watch her, be an analyst on NBC now for the league. And when you talk about the greatest of all time, that's the greatest of all time,
Absolutely.
without a doubt.
Absolutely.
You can talk about Asia Wilson and Caitlin Clark and
Mhm.
Flage and Angel Reese and all these people all day long. Yeah, they can't touch the hem of her garment. I'm just gonna put it out there. She was the
Yeah,
best all around player
you are.
of all time.
Absolutely.
And
Oh,
what
yes,
happened to her was a shame, but we have to kind of just say that was God's plan.
absolutely.
And he had another plan for her, and she did what she did and proved at a young age that she was the truth.
She was good.
So
Yes,
yeah.
absolutely. I want to talk a little bit more about this time where it seemed to me as an observer that some of the newbies, these new
Hmm.
ladies that have been drafted in the last year to have brought a different energy. They have brought the boys to the yard. There are more people looking at
Hmm.
at the game. There are more women that are interested in the game. Is
Hmm.
that good marketing or what's going on exactly?
I think, a lot of it has to do with the level of play. I think that starts in the college ranks, actually, because, I'm fortunate enough to watch Juju Watkins at
Yes,
USC, who's going to be the next great thing. And, NIL
yes,
has a
yes,
little bit to do with that because that helps you increase your brand. But I think that this generation of fans just has a greater appreciation for women, and it really is an interesting time. I have some issues with the way some players are branding themselves,
yes,
and with the way the league is branding them because it objectifies them sometimes.
yes,
And I wrote a piece last year about some of the posts I see on Instagram with these players. They're modeling in bikinis, and they're
absolutely.
half dressed, and I'm like, you don't have to do that. You never
Yes.
see LeBron James in a speedo. Just play. And be the activist you are, but play.
Ooh,
And I think that you'll just get more respect that way. But you know I a lot of players that come into the league don't have adequate media training, really.
wow.
And that's something we work very hard at USC. I mean, we can barely get to student athletes as the journalism school. We can barely interview them sometimes because the university is or athletics is so protective of them. But
Yeah.
I think that we always talk about, is this a moment or is this a movement? Um, last year, if you'd asked me, I would have said, this is a moving movement.
Yeah.
uh, I'm sorry, a moving moment.
Moving.
Uh,
Huh?
but I think it's here to stay. Now, within the last couple of weeks, there's been all this controversy surrounding Caitlin Clark.
Yes.
Um, I'm not there, so I'm not quite sure what to make of everything that's been reported, like this, flare up she had with her coach, these reactions she's having to non fouls.
Wow.
Um, but, I think Cheryl said it really well that, she's under a significant amount of pressure,
Oh, wow.
because she's been purported to be the face of the league, even though
Absolutely.
right now she's not really the best player in the
Yeah.
dub. Um,
She just came back from an injury. Is that correct?
yeah, yeah.
Um,
And, that's always hard to do as well. I mean, she did not have a great sophomore season. So, it'll be interesting to see how she um, gets in a space where she can handle all the pressure and still be the great player that we know she can be.
Yes, I'm interested. I'm a newbie in a sense. I know with the radio show we cover sports talk, but I'm learning the players, learning teams,
Mhm.
learning sports a little bit more than I have now. I'm like you. My brothers were always sports lovers, and so I
Mhm.
did observe the Knicks and different
Right.
sports and Tiger Woods and all them. Uh, but to really get into it, this is really a now time for me to really see what's happening in sports, and I am enjoying it, and I am enjoying the WNBA.
Mhm.
Again, I've observed things like you have. It's like how they're being marketed. uh,
Mhm.
they always want to have a star, you
Right.
know and they elect the star, and but I do notice that there has been a change. I wanted
Mhm.
you to talk a little bit about what's going on in the WNBA as far as challenges. Some of the things you think the ladies have uh, gone through when it relates to DEI, diversity and things like that, um,
Mhm.
equity and inclusion. Can you talk about DEI as it relates to sports and women's sports in particular?
That's an interesting question. I think that's a situation that is ever evolving.
Hmm.
Um, you know, when you look at a league that is, I don't know, what, 75% um, black, you think that, well, everybody's getting their piece of the pie. Well, that's not exactly what's happening, but it's like other leagues. You have your franchise players and then everybody else.
Yeah.
So I think in reality, it's really no different than what you see in the NBA
Okay.
or the NFL. But, I think because of what's happened with Caitlyn and, her becoming the face of the league and, everyone's talking about, she's the greatest ever. Well, she's not.
She's not.
Okay.
Mhm.
And I think that what you're seeing now is that all the OGs are coming out of the woodwork, and we're getting an appreciation for the Lynette Woodwards, for the Katrina McLeans, for the Ruthie Boltons, for the Teresa Edwards, for the Ann Myers, all those people who played back in the day, Nancy Lieberman,
Yes,
those were the real goats of the game,
absolutely.
and you know, Caitlin will have her place in history, certainly if she continues to play and improve. But, it really kind of created this chasm, this divide, because it became a black white thing
Yes.
at some point, and it probably still is in many cases, because anytime she goes up against a black player and, something happens, like that situation when they were playing the Portland Fire
Mhm.
a couple weeks ago. It's always because of this current climate we're in this regressive renaissance we're in America,
Yes,
that it's always going to be a bigger issue than what it should be. And I think that when you look at the dub again, what you're seeing now is they're starting to recruit more international players, and so this feeds into
yes,
their DEI initiatives, I think. But these players that are coming in, they're not coming from Ghana,
absolutely,
or
absolutely.
they are coming from Australia, they are coming from Asia, they are coming from Europe, and some of the European players are of African descent. So I think that's part of their whole global marketing plan, because this is what the NBA has been doing. you know
Absolutely.
there's NBA in Rwanda now. They're all through Africa. So I think that this global approach will definitely improve whatever DEI initiative the Dub has. I'm not quite sure what that is,
Okay.
but yeah, I think
Yeah.
it's evolving.
I want to switch to women's football, and Mickey, I want you to look in your crystal ball and tell me what you see as far as women's football, the future. Where is it going?
Apparently, it's going to be an Olympic sport. It's really, that's the one sport I would have wanted to play.
Really?
Honestly, yeah. Um, but I see tremendous growth potential there, because you're starting to see high school teams develop. You're probably in the next 2 or 3 years going to see, NCAA teams develop if they're in compliance with Title IX. But I think there's a bright future for that as well. I
Absolutely.
don't know. It's going to be slow. It's going to be a slow burn. Much like what the dub was when it started, because men really control football, and
Absolutely.
I don't know that men will want to go see women play. I think
See,
women will want to go see women play, but it'll be interesting to see how that develops. So my crystal ball is a little murky right now when it comes to that sport. But I
yeah.
think what we after the Olympics, we'll see where it goes.
So I got the opportunity to actually interview a young lady who does marketing for the Women's Football League.
Hmm.
And absolutely, it is a slow pace.
Hmm.
It's making progress. The money is not like it is with the
Right.
WNBA, of course, but she assures us that it's going to get to that place
Okay.
eventually. There are certain
Yeah.
factors, like you said, that will have to bring it there.
Right.
And
Right.
I was wondering, just like with the WNBA going to another level, another hype, another energy, will it take someone or some of these, those that are drafted in to kind of like bring that spark? Somebody has to bring it in.
Yeah, and I think what's going to happen in the dub is that they're going to have to expand even more than they have this year. You're going to have teams, in almost every major market, to really accelerate the growth that they're experiencing now, and that will give players a lot more opportunities, because there are only certain because there's so few teams, there's only a certain number of spots open.
Mhm.
So a lot of players who have the skill have to go play in Europe, because
Wow.
they're not going to get drafted. There's a woman, Destiny Littleton, who played for Don Staley at South Carolina, and Destiny was part of the one of the championship teams, and then she transferred to USC. Well, she's from California, and to this day, she remains the leading all-time scorer in high school women's
Wow.
basketball, even above Cheryl Miller.
Yes.
And Destiny really was a role player for us and didn't get drafted. but you know, she was so instrumental in that. I can't remember what year she was on. They won the championship with her. Must have been. I'm going to say it was 22.
Hmm.
But she is now playing overseas, and I don't know if you remember when the war first started with Iran. She was posting live on Instagram because she was in Israel and
Okay.
bombs were bursting in midair, and she was trying to find a safe house with some of her teammates. And I think that really propelled her into another space. I'm
Amazing.
hoping, as she's hoping, that one day she'll get a spot in the
Hmm.
dub, but right now she's playing in France.
Wow.
And um, this is someone that's kind of been overlooked. But there are many Destiny Littletons
Abs-
coming out of college, women's college basketball, that don't get the opportunity and are forced to go play elsewhere. So
Absolutely.
hopefully, once the league identifies some other markets it wants to be in, I hope they put a team in my hometown, Cincinnati. I hope they put a team in Norfolk. I hope they put teams in Birmingham, Alabama, wherever, because these are places that there's not a lot going on in terms of women's sports. So hopefully these things will happen.
Absolutely. I need you to look in your crystal ball again. I want to know, do you foresee women and men playing professional ball on the same team?
Oh man. Well, I think Ann Myers was the first woman to be um, drafted by an NBA team, but didn't make the cut. Nancy Lieberman, I think, got a nod as well. But I don't think so, and I honestly don't think it's necessary. Um, you've got this great league where you can showcase your talents. And it's not to say that women aren't as skillful as men, particularly in basketball, because they are. But you've got height disadvantages, you've
Yeah,
got physical disadvantages. Um, and yeah, I don't see it happening. I hope it doesn't happen, honestly. I would just like to continue to see the women flourish and play their game to the best of their ability, and move on
absolutely.
up.
Absolutely. I want to talk about your books. Please share about your books. Very interesting uh,
Right.
titles. Tell us about your two books.
Well, Journey to the Woman I've Come to Love is something that the genesis of it really started at one of my high school reunions. And I had gone back to a reunion. I went to a predominantly white high school. And, I went back and I hadn't seen some of these people in many years. And they're like, you still look the same. And, they're talking about Botox, they're talking about
Oh,
how they're aging, and seemingly dissatisfied with their looks. And it occurred to me, at what point do women really fall in love with themselves the way they are? And I wrote a enterprise story about how different cultures of women approach aging for the Fort Worth Star Telegram. And out of that, I said, I want to go interview all these women to see what's up. And at that time, I was a pop culture critic, so I had access to a lot of, celebrities. But that's not what I wanted to do. I
mhm.
wanted to talk to women from all walks of life. And
Yes.
so I would be at an event and I'd see, oh, there's that woman that um, Marlon Brando sent to, to refuse his Oscar.
Wow.
And I sat down with her. She's since passed away, Sachin Littlefeather. Um, I ran into Gladys Knight in a hallway. I asked her, and I decided to ask everyone just one question. At what point did you fall in love with yourself?
Oh, wow.
So, I ran into this woman in the West Village in New York who was had a little shop that was about the size of a bathroom,
Mhm.
and there were all these cats around her, and she was selling jewelry. And I saw on Facebook a couple of years ago that she had passed. Um, so, I talked to her, and, just ordinary women from all walks of life. And the woman who's on the cover of the book was someone I ran into at a street fair in Leimert Park, which is the African American hub here in Los Angeles. And she was the way she was dressed and the way she carried herself was just so striking. And I asked her if I could take her picture,
Mhm.
and she said yes. And she posed for me, and she looked into the camera, and you could just feel the strength and the energy. And she was the first uh, female to graduate from um, MIT in metallurgical engineering. I don't know what
Wow.
that is, but
Mhm. Mhm.
that when I looked at that photo, I'm like, this is the cover. Because I
Oh,
was playing with, I had Halle Berry, I had Angelina Jolie, I had all these people, Queen Latifah, and I was like, no, that's the cover. And that, you take a big chance not putting,
yes.
someone
Yes.
who's well known on the cover, but the book sold very well.
Wow.
Um, it took, I think I started it in 2006 and didn't
Mhm.
finish until like 2012. And then part of that was because I'm lazy. I got tired of doing it. It was a lot of work putting that book together. I had an agent, but, they were being really slow. And this Italian billionaire that I had met said, why don't you just do self-publish and keep all the money yourself? I'm like, hey,
Wow.
that sounds like an idea.
Yeah.
So
When you did that,
I did that. Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
I'm glad you said that about, it took you a while. Now, I've written children's books. Of course, all that is out there. And I'm working on a book, but it's been a minute. Uh,
Hmm.
I'm still writing on it, but I said, well, maybe it's something wrong. You taking a long time for this book.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm just kind of like just moving a little slow, and then it go a little fast, and then
Yeah.
I feel like it's going to be finished. I do.
Yeah. I mean, what really propelled me to finish it was I was in Italy with some friends, and one of my friends said, what's up with the book? And I'm
Where's
like,
that book?
blah, 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 blah. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. And then I left Italy early and went, I came home and finished it within 24 hours.
That is marvelous. Tell us about the other book, the second book.
Tomorrow was a book that I love shooting children from all over the world, and children just kind of gravitate toward you when you have a camera. And again, just a random selection of kids, doing kid things, interesting things, eating birthday cake, swinging, playing, or just like acting like kids out in the street.
Right.
And so yeah, that book didn't do as well as Journey, but it was I'm still proud of it. There were some great photos in it, and I would like to do a second volume of
Yes.
Journey. I've been saying that now since 2013, but and I have some people that I have spoken to. Just the other day it popped up on my computer. It's like, oh wow, there's Billie Jean King. I
Wow.
remember talking to her about the book, and then, just a bunch of other people that I have on tape and their photographs. But,
Wow.
I don't know that, excuse me, I would want to self-publish the second volume, but we'll
Okay.
see. We'll see.
Yes. Where can we get your books? Are they still out here available?
They are out of print. What I have to do is find a new publisher because we went
Okay.
through Create Space, and they just dropped it for some reason. I'm trying to get them to explain what happened, and
Yeah.
there's nobody you can talk to. They
Oh,
don't,
wow.
yeah, you have to like go through this, internet connection, and I don't understand. So
Yes,
I am actively working on that. That's just, it's just a matter of identifying another publisher.
absolutely. Beside
Or
that,
I can make an ebook out of it. So,
absolutely.
yeah.
I can imagine that you work with the community. You have anything that's you have a love for, and you want to, you know, people you want to serve or reach in a
Yeah,
certain
well,
way.
right now, I'm working with the grandmother of Juju Watkins. The Watkins family has a huge presence in Watts,
Wow.
and her grandmother wants to archive the history of Watts by
Oh,
using students to, do all the work. And
yes.
so we started that, like, I think last fall. And, people get busy. Students can be a little flaky at times, and, they're busy as well. So we're going to probably jumpstart that again this fall and get it going. I have a guy who's an amazing student coming in as a grad student who wants to spearhead that effort. And, just yesterday I was talking to a sister who works with our marching band. She's a world class violinist
Oh, wow.
who's also, has a PhD, and she's interested in doing it. So, we're about to get it together. And I've been tasked by our president to sort of increase our community engagement so that when we recruit students to USC, we're recruiting everybody. If you don't know, USC is in a neighborhood that is largely black and brown.
Okay. Hmm.
And so we need to really get into the community to make sure that these students, when they're in high school, have the tools they need to, not only apply to SC, but to get into SC, which is really difficult.
Oh,
So,
really?
yeah, it's one of the
Wow.
hardest schools to get into. The
Amazing.
acceptance rate is like 11%.
Okay.
So, so we want to make sure that we get some people who look like us, equal
Yes.
opportunities, despite what the government says.
Yes. That's marvelous. Mickey, I want to say thank you. I want you to leave some final words with our audience. We got so many over here, especially here on TikTok. The names are just floating, and it's too
Oh,
many
I
to
can
say
see
hi
them.
to
Hi,
them.
everybody on TikTok. Yeah.
So, yeah, some last words, Mickey, or any contact information that you'd like to share with our listeners and viewers.
Okay. Well, the one model I live by is retire your fears because they're
Oh,
tired.
I
And I
love that.
think,
I read that. I read,
yeah.
yes, tell us about that.
Well, I
Really?
think that we've come to a place in America where people are just fearful
Yes.
and don't want to speak up for whatever reason. And, in our community, I think one of the things that's happened, because I grew up in the 60s, so, everybody said
Mhm.
everything, and
Yes.
we were all right.
Yes.
And I wrote a piece. There's this anthology that's going out on Nikki Giovanni, and it's called Darling Nikki. And
Oh,
I
yes.
wrote a piece called Wading in the Water with Nikki G,
Yes.
because the last time I spoke with her, and she grew up like in my neighborhood, so
Yes.
we've known each other for a long time. Um, was that we really need her now
Oh, my
to help us
goodness.
navigate these waters, because she would be the one who would speak up and say,
Yes.
this is craziness.
Very bold.
Yeah, and
Hmm.
I said we need someone like Nikki to kind of step up and help us through the water,
Yes.
to get to the other side of the river. Because right now, there's, I feel like people feel defeated, and there's such
Absolutely.
complacency. And, we can sit here all day long and talk about the leadership in this country.
Ooh, yes. Yes.
But, if we don't really speak out, speak up, and do something about it, then, the madness continues.
Yes.
But so that's why I say, retire your fears, because if
Absolutely.
not,
I love that. I read that and it
you
was
gotta keep
beautiful.
it
I
going.
also saw a quilt being made for Nikki in behalf of a tribute to Nikki.
Yeah, my niece and her mother are doing that.
Yes.
Nikki and my sister-in-law were best friends,
Mm,
and yeah, my niece is doing amazing work with her art. She works with fabrics a lot and
mm,
tapestries,
mm.
and I can't wait to see
Oh,
that finished project. So that's going to be really
absolutely.
cool.
Well, Professor Mickey Turner, I want to say thank you so much for being with me. What
Oh,
are you going to
pleasure.
do for the weekend? What you got planned? I know it's something good.
Well, ironically, it's HBCU night tonight at Friday Night Jazz at LACMA, so I'll be stopping by that. And
Yes.
I think I'll be having brunch with some friends tomorrow. And I don't go back to work until like the 23rd. I teach a high school pre-college sports program at SC,
Oh, very
and
good.
that'll last for a month. And I'm hoping to get out of the country for a minute.
Yeah.
But the way these planes are, running into each other and all that stuff, I'm like having
Yes.
second thoughts. And then in August, I'll be down in the ATL for the National Association of Black Journalists Convention. So
Oh,
it'll be a
that's
busy summer.
so good. Thank you so much. And
Thank
I
you.
want you
It's
to
been a
be
pleasure.
blessed. You got to come back and see me soon.
Oh,
And
yeah. Yeah.
just have a wonderful, wonderful weekend.
Oh, you too. Thanks, everybody.
Amen. All right. Wow. So we just want to thank our fabulous guest, uh, Mickey Turner. I tell you what, she's got a lot going on, and we want to say thank you. Wow. So I tell you what, I hope you all have enjoyed the show. It's so many of you all that are on, a lot of shout outs. I see a lot of blessings and thank you to our guests. We got some folk over here. I'm going to shout out a few folks. I saw Mark Howard, who was up here. Good morning. How are you? I hope you enjoyed the show. Mark Howard is always looking in on us, and I want to thank you. I see you right here, Mark. Also, let's see. Is it Rihanna? Hello. We have singer Bahadar. I don't want to mess up names. Edna, what's going on? Judy, hi. Amanda, what's going on? We're going to schedule Amanda to come on and tell us how to have fun like she is and doing her thing on social media. We can't wait to have her come on one of our segments, and we'll see her soon. You can find her over here on TikTok. I always see her over here on TikTok, and you can go to Amanda W. Nicholas and check her out. We have, and I'm going to spell it Zeneida. Also, John, Jamie. Let's see, Love Forest. I think that's it. Pamela, what's going on? Anna, how are you? Look, user 42986144346. What you doing? How are you? Tiny, what's happening? Nathaniel, uh, let's see, Lori Burr, I think that's it. Nutella, oh wow, Sabrina, Trey, Mia, so many of you guys. Rita, Ray, over here on TikTok. TikTok is always there. I tell you what, Facebook is always there. And then we have over here on Instagram, I'm going to spell it DHIRAJDAS 260. How are you? Good morning. Thank you for joining us. And then, of course, we have Facebook. Let me see if I can show you all or tell you all who's here. You know, at one time I couldn't see those that were on our Facebook, but now, there are friends that I can shout out. I believe, let's see, Sheila Robbins, are you here? Let's see who else is here. Let me see if I can get you all. Anyway, make sure you say something in the chat and I can see you all from there. I want to share some upcoming shows with you all, and you let me know. You let me know if you all are going to be there with me. Uh, our shows coming up. We have some upcoming shows. You know, we got Monday Sports Talk. Now, listen, did you all get a chance to behold the game on Wednesday with the Spurs and the Knicks? The Knicks won. I think I made that prediction though. The Knicks won, and but that one out of so many games that they have to play. Okay, we are at the finals. We're at the finals. We're no longer in the semifinals. This is it. This is it. The first four that's won by any of these teams, they're gonna take it to the top. Okay. So anyway, we'll be here on Monday for Monday Sports Talk. Make sure you all join me for that. Hopefully, we'll have a special guest. I'm gonna see if I can reach out and have some other folk come on with me. Let's see. Do we have Sheila Robbins and Crystal Hinton and who else is up here? Denise Sherrod. Good morning. Let's see. Yes, I see a few of you all on. And I want to thank you also for joining me. Thank you for your support. You all are definitely a blessing, especially Denise. Thank you so much for the connection. Yes, Mika is definitely amazing. And you are too. Thank you so much for what you do. Do I see Miss Carter? And let's see. Jason, that's Gary, but I think, let's see, Miss Diane Carter, different ones that are on. And Sheila, of course, she said, have a blessed weekend. Enjoy the show. You are a blessing, my friend. That's my good friend, Sheila Robbins. She's always there and always giving me that rah-rah. And I just thank her for knowing her throughout the years and her being just somebody that I look forward to seeing on the show with me. So, so anyway, Monday Sports Talk, make sure you all join me back here Monday at 9:30 a.m. And let's talk about this game. We have an upcoming game with the Spurs and the Knicks. And let's see what happens game 2. We'll talk about that more on Monday Sports Talk. Of course, we have FYI After Dark. We'll have some folk on, and I'll absolutely put out the announcement who's going to be on our FYI Monday After Dark at 6 p.m. on all social media platforms. And also, let me share some of the folk that are coming on throughout this month and next month. We will have Chris Hinton, Real Estate 2026. We've been waiting for him to be our special guest. Of course, we're going to be doing our Fun Friday Women's segment. We have a wonderful young lady that's coming on June the 10th, Shoshana Withers. She'll be on with us on the 10th. Looking forward to talking with her, doing an up close and personal with her. Also, we're going to have Jason Baker, but he will be here on in July, actually, with cryptocurrency. We're going to be talking about where it is. He has a specific topic for you all as it relates to cryptocurrency and, some of the things that are going on now, some things that they have, information, new information, future information, and just his outlook on this cryptocurrency world. I tell you what, cryptocurrency is here to stay. I don't know what y'all know about it, but it's here to stay, and we might as well learn as much as we can about it. So we're going to be so appreciative of Jason Baker coming on with our cryptocurrency segment. Comedian Allison Moore, we're trying to secure a date for her. It's been a minute because maybe a few years back, I think maybe when we were doing radio over in Norfolk, the Norfolk area, and she was there, I think a couple of times. She was on FYI radio show. And hopefully we'll have a date real soon to announce. comedian Allison Moore. She's been doing a lot of things throughout the circuit, even here in the Hampton Roads area. And I'm looking forward to talking with her because I haven't seen her for a minute, one on one. But I'm looking forward to how her journey is going and who she's coming together and networking with, and how things are going in this field of comedy. I can imagine it's a very, very good field to be in, but I can also imagine there are some challenges, and she'll be sharing those things with us. Let me see who else is coming on. Of course, we're going to continue our men's issue segment, and our Fun Friday women's segment, our Around the Town segment, and our summer activity segment. A lot of things are going on, and that'll be a part of the Around the Town segment for our kids. A lot of camps, a lot of water safety and pool safety information that we'll be sharing with you all. I think I'm gonna go around the pool. I think I'm gonna go around my pool. I'm gonna try to get somebody actually to come here to sit down with me on the outside, and just talk about water and pool safety, and how it's easily something that if you are not careful that you can get in trouble with. Just recently we had a lot of wind, we had a lot of rain and things, and riptides in our resort areas. The beach was actually shut down for a day, I think a day and a half. And the water is nothing to play with, whether it's in the ocean, in the lake, or in the pool. It is nothing to play with. We need to be educated. We need to teach our kids how to swim. My grandson taught himself to swim. I thought that was absolutely fabulous. I had a life jacket for him one day. The next day he was swimming on his own. So we need to make sure we teach our children to swim. You never know when it will come in handy. But we will talk about school safety tips. We talk about traveling tips, summer tips, what's going on with some of the festivals, and a lot of our concerts in this area. If you all have information that you want to share, you can inbox or put it in the chat, or email me at fyradioshow live@gmail.com. Also, if you want to be a special guest, intern, or sponsor, you need to inbox me, or you need to email me, fyradioshow live@gmail.com. Let me know. Look, I'd love to be on your show too. Hey, or listen to this, you guys. If you are associated with somebody that we would like to see, somebody that's in places that we look up to, if you know anybody that's in sports, we're hoping to have some of our sports commentators on with us. We've had them in the past. We hope to get them in the future. If you know anybody that are doing great things, or are promoting some great events, information, please make that referral to us as well. So look, follow us on social media. Follow me and I'll follow you back. Don't forget to go over to Y Hinton. If you are not on TikTok, go on over there to Y Hinton and follow me. I'll follow you back there. It's YHINTON. You'll see FY Radio Show right there as well. Facebook Live, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram. Make sure you go to Y Hinton or you go to FYI Radio Show on those platforms. You'll see me there. You'll see some of the past radio shows there as well. So look, it's time for me to get out of here. It's Friday. I got to go and pamper myself, have a good time, chill out. I want to shout out my beautiful daughter, And look, she's out of school, and I know she is absolutely excited about summertime. I want to shout her out. My son Chris, my grandson, they will be here this weekend. My husband, everybody. I just want to say thank you so much. Thank you for supporting me. Thank you for joining me. And I'm going to see you all on Monday. And thank you again for Mickey Turner, my very special guest. Thank you for being on with me. And so I want to say goodbye first to TikTok. TikTok, let me see. Rita, it's more folk up here. Mia, Trey, Sabrina. Let's see, who else? Let's see. Marissa. I hate, what is it, 200s? Diana, hi, the truth. Let's see, Dora, Becky. Let's see, 10P shot. I didn't get that right, but forgive me. Leah, Kalia, I think it's something like that. Don Lemon, what's going on? How are you? Black Matchison. Let's see. Let's see, who else? Just so many folks. Forever Caramel. Let's see. Sharon Washington. Asaph Baby Boo 9. Jag D. It's so many. F Leon 3. So many of you all are on. Now, is that Don Lemon? Is that the famous Don Lemon? I gotta check you out to see that if that is. Got Don Lemon's picture up there. If that's Don Lemon, good morning. Well, good morning to all of you all. Teresa, good morning. Just thank you all for your grace toward me and being on with our show. I'll see you all soon. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend.
Where I am now, I'm in a special place of tender warm embrace. Where I am now, where I am now, I'm better than before. I'm through those open doors. Where I am now, where I am now, I'm in a special place of tender warm embrace. Where I am now. Where I am now, I'm better than before. I'm through those open doors. Where I am now, where I am now, I'm in a special place of tender warm embrace. Where I am now, had to climb, knock me down, save my life. I've come a long way and now I'm changing. He brought me out and I'm praising.